And we're live! Hi everyone! Welcome to the Perfectly Queer Book Club live show for This Is How You Lose the Time War. I don't have a physical copy, unfortunately, to hold up. There we go. So we are talking about this sci-fi novella today. This is our January pick. And if you haven't read the book for whatever reason, we'll talk about non-spoilers stuff for the first bit and then we'll go into spoilers. But basically, this is a sci-fi novella. It's about two time agents on opposing sides of the time war that start writing these really snidey letters to each other, and then the letters start to develop and their relationship develops. I'm joined by my co-host, Anna. If you'd like to...
Hi everyone, I'm Anna. My channel is Centauri Reads, and I haven't posted in many months, but I do make book content occasionally. And yeah, I was this month's co-host to read This How You Lose a Time War.
Okay, so should we just talk about our general thoughts on the book? What did you rate it? What were your overall impressions of it?
Yeah, so I think I gave this 4 stars. I actually enjoyed it a fair bit. I read it really quickly because I just kind of got sucked in and was just reading through it. Not because I left it last minute, not. But I really enjoyed it. I thought I really don't usually like multiple author books. I just find they don't flow well, and I always can tell that just something doesn't feel right. So I was very shocked to see that my favorite part about this book was the writing. I've been using CorePal this year, and I made a little column for favorite quotes. I've never put in more quotes than this. I had every other page had a quote that was that's beautiful. Oh my god, that's amazing. I really enjoyed it. I had a hard time kind of knowing what was going on, and especially trying to tell the characters apart at first, but they definitely grow more. But I think even with all its lack of clarity, I think it almost kind of added to the story. It was kind of it's not important what this war is about. It's not important what's going on. All we care about is that these two people are falling in love despite everyone telling them, despite everything in their life being against that. So I thought, even though I didn't really understand what was going on most of the time, it actually almost aided it a little bit, in my opinion. Yeah, okay. I really liked it overall.
Yeah, and anyone who's watching, feel free to leave your comments, your thoughts and your rating and everything in the comments. We'd love to hear what you thought. Yeah, so I rated this slightly lower. I rated this a 2.5, which is basically, for me, that's not a bad rating. That is pretty much average. And for me, that can either mean the book was just meh and I had nothing to say about it, or it means that I was very divided, which is what this book is for me. So for me, I absolutely loved the writing. As you said, it was beautiful, and actually, for a co-authored book, I couldn't tell. I don't think there was that much of a difference in the writing style. It flowed together very well. I could tell it was two different people, but it still flowed together. Where sometimes I've read co-authored books and they don't mesh well together. The two writing styles to really adjust as you're going between the two different POVs. So no, I loved the writing, and I don't highlight a ton. I read this on my Kindle. And I don't highlight a ton on my Kindle, but I highlighted a lot of different quotes. Just because I was that's just a beautiful way to phrase that. And I loved the yearning. This book is a big yearn fest, and I was just here for it. But I think the thing is, I knew going into this book that I probably wouldn't understand it, and I tried to be it doesn't matter if you don't understand it, that's not the point of the book. And yet I was still slightly frustrated by it. I couldn't help it. I think it's just I thought stuff would click into place a bit more, and I just really had no clue what was happening other than the romance, which I understand it's not part of it, but I don't know, it still kind of bothered me a little bit. I don't know.
No, I think it can be quite hard to. I think if this book was any longer, well, then they definitely have to explain. But yeah, I think any longer than that, I probably wouldn't keep your attention, because there's only so long you can go not knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely felt that I think I'm only in hindsight thinking, oh, it's fine that I didn't know what was going on because the important part was the romance. But reading it, I was oh, what is this war about? What are we fighting for? It did at times feel a bit futile, because you're well, is this all even worth it? But I think the answer is probably no. So
yeah, I mean, there was wasn't even too bothered, I think, about like knowing what the war was about. I think it was, for me, it was like one of those wars that had been going on for so long that the point of why they were fighting, like they were just fighting. That's what it felt like. But I think I was more just like, I don't understand these threads and like how time travel works and like how are they crossing over to each other, and also like who they are, because they're kind of humans but they're not humans, and they seem to and like how does that work? And I don't know. I haven't like I probably read it too slowly. I feel like I read it so slowly that I just like kept having all these questions. Maybe if I'd read it quicker, I would have just like gone with the flow a bit more. I think because I sat with it for a bit, I just kept being like, but why is this? And why is this? And why is this? Like going? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it definitely had like. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but I thought it was like kind of like a multiverse type thing. So like each thread is like because they were talking about how like Earth in this strand is different to Earth in this other strand, but it's not explained. And like I kept getting really confused with the direction. Like up, they kept talking about going up thread or down thread, and I was like, which one's the past and which one's the present? Like... I was so confused. I think I just left it and just went with the flow, which actually is quite surprising because I normally am the person that will be like, well, what are we doing? Like, how is this working exactly? But I just thought, well, it's time travel, is that like they can really explain it very
time travel, I mean, is so complicated in books in general.
I
think the bit with the strands that was confusing me was I was like, it seems like one of those time travel systems where like if one thing happens in a thread, then it will spark off another thread and then another. So there's like almost infinite amounts of threads.
Yeah.
So how do you keep that straight?
Well, I mean, we'll talk about this in the spoilery bit, but yeah, it's just a big circle, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you haven't read it.
Yeah, it's a lot. What did you think about the characters?
I actually really like the characters, which when I started reading it, I did not expect it because I could not tell them apart. I was having so much trouble remembering who's red and who's blue. I was like, wait, which one? Because they're kind of like, in my head, they're kind of like Cyborg and Flower Child. And those were the two, like,
Yeah.
That's kind of how I could tell. Wait, Blue's the Flower Child.
Yeah, Blue's the Flower Child.
Amazing. I was like, blue, almost like a garden. Yeah. But I thought it was really interesting because by the end I was so enthralled with them, and there's like halfway through the book I was like, oh my god, there's only 2 characters. Like I was really shocked that I was enjoying this book so much.
There's only 2 characters.
Really. Yeah, it's like the bosses, like the big bosses of the war are mentioned, and they kind of show up later. But for so much of it, it's just these characters and their letters. And I think I really like how they're developed through like the letter format, because it really felt like every letter kind of like peeled a layer and we saw a bit more and a bit more. So I think by the end I really liked them, but at the beginning I was definitely like, God, I'm about to not know who anyone is.
Yeah, I actually wasn't too confused between them. There were a couple of times when I'd have to really like make sure I was keeping track, particularly if I'd read a chapter and then left it a day and then went back. I'd be like, okay, whose POV am I starting in? Because you get the POV and then
the letter is the other person.
Yeah.
I had so much trouble with that.
Yeah. And I would always be like, okay, whose letter is this? Whose POV is this? Where are we in this situation? But yeah, no, I think, I mean, this leads us nicely to talk about like the relationship progression, because that is like one of the best relationship progressions I have seen. Like I was skeptical because it's a novella, and I was like, I'm a slow burn gal, and I was like, how are they going to do this so that it's like satisfying and it doesn't feel like rushed or insta-lovey or anything? But it was done really. I thought it felt very like realistic. And like, I don't know.
It's like, a good enemies to lovers. It's always good, isn't it?
It really was. It really was. I'm not a firm enemies to lovers person. Like, I actually friends to lovers most of the time, only because I feel like enemies to lovers doesn't do the middle bit very well. Often. Like I feel like they go often straight from hating to loving, which is like fine, but like I want the bit in the middle.
Yeah, no, I do see that. I do love friends to lovers, to be fair.
Yeah.
No, I think the romance was done really well because it just felt like there's not that insta love like wait, how did we suddenly fall in love? I think like it catches them off guard and it catches us off guard. Like even though I knew going into it that it had a romance, I was like, how is this going? Like this isn't gonna work. When I was reading it, I was like, oh god, it's about to be like insta love because like suddenly they just forget they're on opposing sides of the war or something.
No, but I think it was always in their mind. Like it was always very present in their minds that they were on opposing sides of the war.
Yeah.
How that was like playing into their relationship. Also, I think I liked their relationship because I just eat up when like romantic interests are kept apart, like physically apart, and they're like writing each other through letters, and like I don't know, it just increases the yearning potential.
What did you think of the letter system? Because I love that they were not like real letters, that they had like all these different like the bee sting, like she got the letter through the bee sting and stuff. Like I just thought that was such a nice like way to spice up just like a letter plot line.
Yeah, but I was also like, this makes sense because like if they had like actual letters, like how would they hide that kind of thing? No, I thought that was really cool. And actually like it's funny because I sat there like, how does this time travel work and everything? But with the letter stuff, I was like, I don't care. Like that was
it's written in the lava. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, it's written in the lava, and she remembers it after like reading it once through. Like that's fine, no problem.
She's like disappearing as it goes, and she's like, yep, got it.
Yeah. But I mean, they are like more than human, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely.
So their capabilities are, But yeah, no, I did like that. Is there anything else you want to talk about non-spoilery?
Oh, let me have a quick look at my notes.
That's not organized.
But I would not say that. Yeah, no, I think my only like kind of criticism, which wasn't really that bothersome, was like we don't really understand, like there's not that much world building and like a system built. Like it's kind of like thrown like here are the strands, here are the threads, here's a war, enjoy. But I do understand that it's a novella, so I wasn't really expecting it to be like a full. I was very confused as to how it's going to be a sci-fi novella because I was like, where's the like world building? But it wasn't really needed.
Yeah, I feel like although I rated it a little bit lower, that was more just like from my experience based on like, I wasn't particularly. I knew going into it wouldn't have as much world building because it's a novella. Like that's just by nature. I wasn't expecting a fully fleshed out system or world, but I think I just wanted something a bit more,
just tiny bit,
just a little bit more, just to like wrap my head around it because I was so confused the whole time reading it. Because I haven't read a lot of novellas, to be honest. But I feel like any novella in a world I already know, so they can just do character work and they don't have to explain the world because they've done that in a. You
already know it.
Yeah, it was an interesting one. Should we get into spoilers?
Yeah, we can do.
Okay. Is there any spoilery thing you wanted to touch on first in particular?
Well, I think the end / the start / the whole thing.
What? The whole thing. Yeah, just to say, sorry guys, should I put a banner saying spoilers from that?
Yeah, maybe. Spoilers.
I've never done that before, but we'll try it.
Okay, we'll try it.
There we go. Yeah, that's fine, right?
Oh yeah, I think that's acceptable.
Yeah. So yeah, did you see Red being the Seeker? Is that what they were called, the Seeker?
Yeah, the Seeker. No, I thought it was gonna be someone from one of the sides that was gonna catch them, which in hindsight, so predictable. When would this ever happen in this book?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I did not. I was so shocked. I thought we were just gonna have a tragic ending. I thought it was just gonna be Blue dies and it's over. Yeah. But I did not expect, because it's crazy, because when you like really think, because I was explaining this book to my friend and I was like, yeah, like I'm so confused by the ending, and I was just like, so we know from the beginning that something has happened in Blue's like birth or whatever it was called, and then it happens at the end of the book. Like I was just broken. Like I love time travel, but it like those kind of paradoxes always like break my brain.
Yeah, I know. Like, because I like I'm British. I grew up on Doctor Who, so like you know, I think like I guess whenever I think about time travel, I think about how the system works in Doctor Who, and always compare it to that because that was my first experience.
I was telling my housemates about this book, and they were like, Doctor Who, and I was like, yes, Doctor Who.
And obviously I feel like the Doctor Who is different how it works. I feel like they're less able to interfere in different timelines and stuff. I feel like this one they're able to kind of go around different timelines and mess around and stuff a lot more, or maybe they're not meant to, but they're doing it because it's a war. I don't know. But yeah, it's funny, I don't tend to like sit and try and predict plot twists when I'm reading, but I guess because I read this over a few days, and it was something that had crossed my mind, like Red being the Seeker. I was just like, what if it's actually like one of them, like going back in time and like, stuff. But I hadn't thought about it too hard. I wasn't like shocked when it was revealed. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I don't know what I thought. I think I thought the ending was going to be okay because I'd seen so many people reacting so like positively towards it, and I just didn't think that many people would react positively towards it if it had been like
one of them died.
Like one of them had died, yeah. If it had been like a kind of kill your gaze kind of thing.
No, I was getting so disappointed those last few pages. I was like, this was so good, and she's now dying.
I was like wondering how it was going to be.
Yeah. No, I think it was so interesting, and like, again, like the letter hidden in the like plant, and like Blue just Red begging Blue to stop, like stop, you still got time, like that really was my heart.
That bit was so intense when she was like, please stop reading, and then Blue just kept reading.
I was like, should I stop reading? Like, am I not meant to read this?
I know, even I was like, should I stop reading?
No, I think it was so interesting, and I think the kind of like irony of Red having to make kind of what would break Blue, but then also have to make it so that she doesn't eat it, which obviously was never going to happen because they would just kill Red. It was just so heartbreaking. And I really like how the ending is kind of left open. I actually wrote, this was one of the few notes I made, was the ending, the final like sentences are, you and me, this is how we win. And I thought that was such a big contrast to this is how you lose a time war, like the title, because it was like, it's now them against the world. And for me, who went through like this, oh my god, it's about to have the worst ending ever, like they're about to die. I thought, oh my god, this is beautiful. Like, it made me so happy.
It's a very like triumphant and hopeful ending, definitely. Even like the skeptical part, I'm like quite a skeptic, so the skeptical part of my brain is like, how much did it actually work out? I appreciate.
Well, I mean, we leave Red in a cell, so
I appreciate that they left it before
it's so bad.
I appreciate a hopeful ending, especially in like LGBTQ+ books, especially.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because it's just like, we've had enough tragedy, thanks.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to see what other notes I had. I mean, I have a bunch of quotes, but I don't think we want to go into that.
I really loved the setting when Blue was in like the garden. Was it like when she was? It's been a couple of weeks since I read it, but when she was in that one place and she like had a child and like she had
with a husband. Yeah. I don't think it was in the garden. I think it was like she was kind of like placed in one of the strands.
Right. Yeah.
So, like, it was kind of like one of her assignments, but it was like really like a slow build type thing. So yeah. No, I really enjoyed that. It just was so like serene and nice. And after like the breakneck pace, the first half went that, I was like, oh, this is a nice break.
Yeah, I don't know. I just enjoy those kinds of settings, and especially like you say, so a lot of the settings that they were in were like very bleak and like. Yeah. I don't know.
I found it so funny that they kind of imply that Caesar was stabbed by everyone in like Red's like I don't remember what they're called, but that side of the wall, like that's just like their pastime. Whenever they're bored, they just go and stab Caesar in the back and move on. Like that cracked me up. I was in like, wow.
Yeah,
quite
I
funny.
appreciated the little nods to history without there being. It didn't feel like they were annoyingly trying to drop in loads of references and stuff.
And it definitely wasn't like something that if you didn't know, you would like miss a crucial part of the book. It was just like a little like nice nod if you knew what was going on.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah, no, that was really
I
fun.
think actually I quite liked I keep calling it the garden setting, but it's not garden setting. But you know, the bit where Blue was with her husband and everything. I think I actually quite liked that, even though she was like with a man. Just because like stability for a bit. Like we had that one stable setting for a while, because every chapter I felt like I did have to like adjust and be like, okay, where are we? Like, what time are we in? What planet are we on? Like, what's going on?
Yeah. No, I think it was so nice, and like she sounded serene as well. Like she was talking, like I think that's when she really starts talking more about like her life as well, and it really feels like there's more time that she now has to like share all the stuff with Red.
Yeah,
I don't think Red gets a break in the book, so I feel like her a break.
Red is so stressed throughout the entire book.
No, she really is. She's just running through time.
I know.
Yeah, because like the garden seemed to have this like really like long-term plan, whereas what is Red's side called? I literally don't remember. It's gonna really annoy you. Sorry?
No, I can't remember. I just
okay.
Called her a cyborg.
Yeah, no, it is a cyborg side. I don't accept anything else. I think it's just called the agency.
Yeah, the agent. Oh yeah, the agency.
Yeah, the agency just seemed to have a go in guns blazing method, and it's not suited to my style. I think I like the garden more.
Yeah, same. The garden appealed to me more aesthetically, I guess.
Definitely, yeah.
They definitely seem to have more of a plan. Yeah, I definitely felt like the agency was a lot more reactionary. For sure.
Yeah.
Because there was a quote. I mean, I won't like go through loads of quotes because there's so many you could go through.
Oh yeah, literally so many.
There was a quote that made me chuckle, only because I'm from London, so it just made me laugh.
Yeah,
it was towards the end of the book when it was said, however the context, but it just said someone, even an immortal can only ride the circle line for so long. I was like,
I literally highlighted it because I lived on the circle line for a couple of years, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. I don't want to ride it ever again.
I didn't have to get it that much, but that's because I avoided the circle line as much as I could. Like, I just don't like it.
I've lived in London for 6 years now, and I'm still like, I don't like. I take it. I'm like, I'm not on the right train.
I don't understand what train.
I just know it in my heart. Yeah, no, that did make me laugh actually.
Yeah, no, that just made me laugh so much. I mean, yeah, we won't go into a side tangent about London tube lines, but the Circle Line is one of the most cursed.
Yeah, no, I think it is the most cursed. Everything else,
that and the Northern Line are the most cursed.
Agreed. I like that. Yeah.
I'm just like going through quotes and trying to remember if any of them.
Yeah.
Pop up something in my brain.
Oh, I like the idea. It's in the book. It's called. It says like letters as time traveling letters. I hadn't really thought of that, but yeah, because they like leave letters for the other to find like a bit of time later. So it's kind of like what they were thinking when they wrote it. I just thought that was a really like nice nod. Like there's two kinds of time traveling in the book. Yeah,
they're like a little time capsule, I guess, aren't they?
Yeah, which is why then Red goes around to pick them up to get like Blue's life.
Blue's life, yeah. I don't know. It was making me think as well because I started journaling this year, and it's almost like journaling for a little time. And even like I mean, I've only started doing it this year, but even I go back and look at my January stuff now, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I was like doing last month. And
I
don't know. It's always interesting. I really liked that, and obviously we don't like write letters as much anymore, so it's
No, this definitely made me want to write my friends letters. Honestly, I was like, should I just like slide them under their door? I was like, yeah, I'm not texting anyone ever again. I'm just gonna send them letters whenever it reaches them.
Yeah, I really like sending. Like I really like sending my friends in the mail. I don't know, it just feels so much more personal.
No, it does. I use the pen pal quite a lot, but I haven't anymore. But I feel like this will make me start again.
Yeah.
What other quotes did I have? I just think this had so much about letters. Like, I feel like my English teacher who went on about us reading letters writing letters would love this book, honestly.
Yeah. No, I think it's really like something if you love, I guess, literature and books and writing. I feel like this is really a book I would recommend. Like, if you love writing, you should.
Yeah. I think a lot of people might get put off because it's technically sci-fi, but like the sci-fi bit really doesn't make as much impact as anything else does.
It's like, it's a very like romantic book. Like,
yeah,
I would say like if you like a good romance.
Yeah, because I read a lot of sci-fi, but I mainly focus on like really like epic ones and like just a lot of world building. So this is so far out what I normally read, but I flipping loved it so much. Like,
I don't read a ton of sci-fi. I do tend to enjoy it when I read it, but I tend to read like quite character focused sci-fi, I guess. I really like Becky Chambers' books, and
I love Becky.
I just this weekend read On a Sunbeam by Tilly Walden, which is a graphic novel.
I really want to read it.
It's really good, which is also FF if anyone's watching. Very good. And that again, that's like a character focused sci-fi, and like again, kind of actually On a Sunbeam, like not everything is explained, but I did feel like I still had more of a grasp on that, but maybe that's because it was visual, so I could like see a lot better. And I am quite a visual person. Like I do a lot. I can make sense of things a lot more when I can see it. So I struggle sometimes with fantasy and sci-fi, I think, because they're trying to describe it to me, and if it's something I can't picture, I really struggle to like comprehend it.
I definitely see that. I just kind of, because I read so much sci-fi, I just expect now to not understand things. So I'm just like, we'll move on. It will hopefully be explained at some point.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like I'm starting to read a lot more fantasy and sci-fi, and I've just grown to accept things that I might not understand. Like, as long as it's explained, even if I don't understand it, if they've explained it, that's my own problem. And that's really how I feel with this one, because I rated it a 2.5, but that's more for me. Like, I would still recommend this book. To other people. I said it's like, it's a me problem. I just feel too dumb to understand it. And I couldn't get past it. Whereas I feel like it's really just a case of you can't tell if you're going to be able to just get past not understanding read it. So I feel like it's a book that I would say to everyone, like, give it a go, because you don't know.
Definitely.
But yeah, I don't know if I had many other thoughts on it. It's like hard because it's a novella, so I feel like we've covered.
I mean, there's not that much like plot wise.
It's mostly like, it is a romance book, I would say.
Definitely. I think I did put it in a sci-fi sub-romance sub-genre of romance in Core Pile, but I might have to switch it around. Like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I think it might have to go the other way around. So if romance is the main genre, it's just in a sci-fi setting.
That's what I would say. It's a romance in a sci-fi setting. Hey Mel.
Hello.
I know Mel loved this book. I know this was like in her favorite books. Yeah, what's happening with the book too? I just want to know if I mean, I think it's a really fun book to discuss with people, because people have such
I think everyone just takes it slightly different, which is true for every book, but because there's so much ambiguity in this one, like, you really can take it the whole next level.
Yeah, and I think it's a book, like, it's funny, I saw someone earlier like on Twitter say, oh, it's a book that divides people, and I would say, like, I think it divides people, but I think it's just, I've never seen anyone like hate this book. I feel like it's people either are like love it, or it's people like me who are like, I personally was a bit frustrated by the fact that I didn't understand it, but I see why people love it, and I would still recommend it, because it's like, I feel like it's more of a me problem. Everyone I've spoken to who has had the same experience as me is like, it's a me problem. It's not the book's fault. It's not the book's fault. It's a good book. It's my favorite book, and it's definitely a romance first. And I would agree. It's like got a sci-fi backdrop, but it's
definitely.
And the romance is top notch. Like, as a romance book, I would highly recommend it.
I think calling it sci-fi runs the risk of sci-fi hardcore fans reading it and then being like, what is this? Nothing makes sense, nothing's explained. It's like, it's fine, it's just a cute little FF romance.
Yeah, exactly. That has like A plus yearning.
The yearning, man. I also really like characters being physically apart, but I like it because the whole time I'm like, please, can you just meet? Like, I was just like, bring them together.
I think I always love characters being apart because it always creates so much angst, and I live for
Yeah.
angst.
No, honestly.
Especially in I know there's like this whole discussion that's happened sometimes in like about FF books and whether like some don't, like a lot people say that a lot of them don't have angst, and I'm like, I feel like you just have to find the right ones.
You have to find the right ones. I've definitely read FF with
I've read
angst.
FF that have a fair bit of angst. This is definitely one of them, but like not in like this wasn't angst in a annoying way. Sometimes angst annoys me if it's like contrived, but like this was like legitimately they're on opposite sides of the war. Like
yeah, I think also with the separation, I think it's interesting to think about how we later find out they're not actually separated, because the Seek is always like kind of hanging around behind them. So it's kind of like, I think it's really interesting to see that actually they are always together. They just don't know it yet.
Yeah.
I think
that's interesting because I know Mel reads a lot of romance, like compared to me. Like I tend to read a lot of books like that have a side romance in them, but I don't. I've read a few romance books, but not a ton. I mean, I don't mind either way. I don't mind if the couple's together. I just know I like it when they're apart.
Yeah.
Especially in like fantasy and sci-fi settings. I don't know.
I think it also works because it's a novella, so it's only like so long. I think if you have like a series of 4 books and they're not together for 2 of them, that's when I'm like, oh, come on, like how am I meant to like this couple when I haven't seen them together?
Yeah, no, I agree with that actually. I think it works because it's a novella. Yeah, I think that's really something you have to consider with this book as well. Like when you're talking about certain things, like the fact that it's a novella changes stuff to do. Like I'm not as critical about the fact that there's not a lot of world building because I knew that going into
it's only 200 pages. Like they can't, and because then the romance wouldn't be developed, so they'd both be underdeveloped because you definitely can't build this world and this like intricate system in 200 pages. Yeah,
no, that's really true. That's really true. And I think that they like the fact that, as we've said, like it's a romance first and they nailed the romance. I think is maybe I'll put it up to 3 stars.
Maybe. I
love talking about books though because I feel like I always get so much out of it and then I end up changing my rating a lot of the time.
Yeah, Mel, I agree. I think when they have no idea what the other is doing, it's so frustrating. But this constant like correspondence, because they're apart physically but not like emotionally and mentally.
Yeah, no, I get that actually. Especially because when they don't know what the other is doing and then their mind starts spiraling and then they start imagining that it causes conflict that's like unnecessary. Whereas this one I felt like actually they were very communicative and also very understanding of each other. When they like took a while to get back to each other, or like when they couldn't about certain things, I felt like they were really understanding.
I also love how the letters developed from then, like boasting at each other for like ruining each other's plans, and then that slowly buds into getting to know each other better. And I think it actually does that friends bit of enemies to lovers really well, because they just there's a time where they're just getting to know each other, but without like any sort of romance lingering. They're just getting to know each other's lives. I just thought that was so nice.
No, the build-up was really fantastic. And like I said, I don't always jive with enemies to lovers just because I think a lot of authors don't do the middle bit that I want. I don't want it to go straight from enemies. I always want a friend bit in the middle personally. That's like just a personal preference. I don't think they need to. It's just my personal preference. But I think because they nailed the whole like friendly bit, like they weren't necessarily friends, but they were being friendly with each other, like wanting to get to know each other. And I love that. Was like one of my favorite bits of the book when they were like really getting to know each other.
Because we also get to know them through it. Like we didn't know anything about them before they tell each other.
And there's something about letter writing like and between them that I think is very personal, that lets you get to know characters in a way you might not if it was like told in prose.
Definitely.
Which I appreciated a whole lot. Is there anything else we wanted to talk about? I feel like we went on a little bit of a tangent there.
I'm not sure. I think I've got everything I was thinking. To be fair, mainly for the most time I was thinking, wow, that was a nice way to say this. Wow, they're so cute.
Literally.
No more thoughts. As I said, I was going to annotate this, and then I just flew past it and just read it. And I was like, I don't even have time to make a thought because I just want to read the rest.
Yeah, like no thoughts, head empty, just pretty writing and
This book could be like about no plot at all, and if it was written like this, I'd still read it and give it 4 stars. The writing was amazing.
Like, I mean, I feel like we could quote so many things, but there's like one I found here that I really love that's like, words hurt but metaphors go between like bridges, and words are like stone to build bridges. And it's just like,
there are a lot of mentions of bridges. There's a lot about them when they're talking about Genghis Khan. And I found that so interesting.
Genghis Khan was wild. I studied that a bit at uni. Like, I studied the Mongols a little bit at uni and Genghis Khan. So I was sitting there like having a little giggle because I was just like, oh my god. bit of trauma, but also no, we were saying earlier, Mal, the writing is like
amazing.
I think if you are like a lover of writing, you need to read this book.
Definitely.
But I tried to look it up, and I don't think the authors have written much else, because I tried to see if they'd written like, because I was like, I'd read a book that they've written.
I'm very curious if they wrote like one point of view each. Wait, no, they did. Because that's why.
Have they revealed
blue and red?
Is that it?
Maybe, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but Max Gladstone is red and Amal El-Mohtar is blue.
Oh. It's because I don't have a physical book, so I had never...
I've only just looked at it. I was thinking last night, I was like, which parts did each one write? But, I mean, it might just be that it's red and blue, to be honest.
Maybe. I don't know.
But
yay. Thank you for watching. Love watching. But I think that's all good. I think we've gone through everything. I think they have some individual works. Yeah, I tried to look up on Goodreads, but I won't lie, I think I did it late at night and didn't look too in depth, but I would love to read something else that they've written. Hopefully they have something coming out soon, especially like after the success of this, because I feel like this has been one that's like kind of taken the internet by
definitely
because it was on a lot of people's favorite books of the year list.
I could just be saying things, but I've just looked at it and thought, one is blue, one is red. I want to find out now. I'm not sure.
I'm blaming the fact I didn't do that on the fact I don't have a physical copy. But then again, I was making like graphics for this live show, and I was looking at that cover loads. So I should have. It's not really an excuse. Like, I've looked at that cover a bunch of times. So I don't know. But yeah, I think we're all good. Do you have anything any final thoughts you wanted to say? Yeah.
I just want to say I am correct. According to Wikipedia, Red's letters were written entirely by Gladstone and Blue's by El-Mohtar, although they wrote a general outline beforehand.
Okay. Interesting.
There you go. They felt like the same They felt like the same style of writing. So
yeah, I think they did really well on blending their styles.
Yeah. But apart from that, no, I have no other thoughts really. Sorry, I just needed to find out if I was right.
Yeah. No, absolutely. But yeah, no, I think that's all good for this discussion. Do you have anything you want to like promote or talk about just at the end of this?
Well, I have a YouTube channel, currently editing my wrap up, but I'm kind of doing more of like a project-based approach because uni does not allow weekly editing. But you can always find me on Twitter, and I'm very happy to talk about anything that you're reading. And it's just Suntory Reads.
I'm going to have Anna's links in the description box below, so you can go and check her out. I think all I have to say for the end of this is that just to quickly wrap up, next month is our nonfiction month. So we are reading, I have it here, Wayward Lives, Beautiful Experiments by Saidiya Hartman. Mel, who is in the chat, is our guest host for next month, and she picked this book. And this is a nonfiction history book. It's about young queer Black women in the kind of early 20th century in New York and Philadelphia, and how they kind of like carved their own lives and their own space in that environment. So I've read the first 45 pages, and it is really beautiful. The writing in this is really beautiful and fantastic, and it's told in a very different way from a normal history book. So if like you get put off by like the detached way that history books are often told, this is very different. But I hope you can join us because it's going to be a really, really fun discussion. I think really interesting. But that's everything for this live show. Thank you for anyone who joined us and for watching.
Thank you
for guest hosting and picking our book and everything.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, I've been meaning to get to this one for ages, and I'm glad I have finally read it and like, know what everyone's talking about. But yeah, we hope you can join us for next month. We are mostly on Twitter at the moment, which I will link down below. Yeah, you can start reading it. But I'm really excited to hear your thoughts on it, Amal. I literally cannot wait for our discussion next month. I think we're gonna have like lots to talk about. But yeah, no, I'll have our Twitter links down below. We are in the process potentially having an Instagram, so like look out for that. But yeah, that's everything. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.